Hey guys, welcome to Ringsiders. The man that needs no introduction, Cary Silkin, welcome back.
Hello, boys. How are you?
All good. Callum?
Yeah, so I just wanted to say really quickly, if you check the description of this episode, you'll see there's a link for a GoFundMe. It's actually for a fundraiser for a very close friend of mine to help save the dog's life. Needs urgent back surgery. They're looking to raise some money for the operation, so if anyone can even share the tweet that we've got pinned on our profile, that would be amazing. And that's all I wanted to say. Just check it out if you can, and thank you.
I will see if I could throw a few dollars that way, and
Very kind of you, Cary. Thank you.
I'll retweet it or whatever.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you. But final battle. Let's
Holy shit!
right.
Holy shit, indeed.
You was there. I mean, what was the atmosphere like? What was the excitement levels like?
It was a mix, like we spoke about. It was ahead of time. It was a mixed bag. I mean, you had guys obviously sad that some guys are angry.
Yeah.
Some guys have a level of acceptance. Some guy, I don't know if anyone was happy, but they were, talk about professionals that went out. There's been cases over the years with sports teams, musicians, actors, just phoning it in, but the pros never do that in any level of art. And that was the case in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We spoke to Dutch the other day, who first of all had a lot of positive things to say about you. He said you had a nice hug after the show, and it meant a lot to him that he got to speak to you on the day. But he said it was a really somber, not happy, but kind of a bittersweet atmosphere in the back. It was like an end of an era, and there was a lot of positives, but it was also quite. He said it was like being at a funeral.
Yeah, I did say that to somebody I talked to. This is like going to my own funeral. But it was. I'm just glad I was able to go, and in my fragile physical condition with my various ailments and maladies, be able, I got lucky. It's like a 3-hour ride to Baltimore if there's no traffic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I went down on Friday. Hey, listen, on a 3-hour ride for me, sometimes I feel like I have to stop 3 times to piss. This is what happens when you're 65. But anyway.
I'm 37, Cary, and I have to do the same thing.
And this is without even drinking a lot of water. Anyway, so I made it one stop, very little traffic, if any. I was left at 1 o'clock. I was at the hotel by 4. The guys and the production and all the staff were coming in at staggered times. And the very first person I saw besides some of the production people, there's a young guy, Zane Decker, who does all the video stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
He's huge. He's been a huge part. Dalton Castle gave him a big shout out recently. But anyway, so he was in the parking lot when I pulled up. So I just said to him, "Can you help an old guy with his bags, please?" But after that, I was supposed to go to dinner with Gary Juster and other people, one of the cameramen, production guys, Silas Young, whoever wanted to go. But that wasn't until like 7. So I went down to the lobby and I ordered a glass of wine and just sat there. And who did I see first? And we sat for over an hour. It was Jay Lethal. And
that's quite poetic. That he's the one.
Exactly what I said to him.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of you with him
Right. I told him how I felt about him previously. Did you really have to leave that quick? So it was poetic justice that he was there, and he was happy to be there. So that was cool. Friday night after dinner, most of the guys were there, but a lot of them come in Saturday morning. So you see this one and that one. It's like everyone's splintered off. Like there's guys in the bar, there's Chris Hero was having a wrestling nerds festival in one of the conference rooms, showing videos and doing, there was like 6, 7 guys that, were heeding his tips and advice and discussing. So, yeah, it was good. It was good. And then, which led us to Saturday. Everybody had to get a COVID test. Nobody tested positive. Excuse me. And then I had to pace myself. I hate being in a hotel room by myself. I don't want to be at the building too early. I don't want to be moving. I want to move, but not too much. So I got to the building around 3. I sat in my room, no TV on, just thinking, I sent out a tweet Saturday with me in the hotel room. For me, it was like a record, for a big star, it would have been like they didn't even send it, but it got like 20,000 views, which is good for me. It's like huge. Anyway, I got to the building and made it through the show. I'll tell you, Port's emotional, blah, blah, blah. But 2 things really got me as far as, emotionally. One of them, even if he's not happy hearing this, you could see it on the video, and we love him. Todd Sinclair was crying his eyes out before the main event, like weeping. And Bobby Cruz, the man with the fucking black heart, the man, I will spit on your grave. No. Bobby's in the ring with him, and it's like, those guys are sort of, they're both New England guys and came in the same time. Anyway, that got me. And then at the very, very, very end, and it was off the air, so you guys couldn't share it. But at the end of every Ring of Honor show, most Ring of Honor shows, and thank God the production people knew to do it at this one. Another thing I stole from old Jethro Tull, at the end of a Jethro Tull concert, which, sorry, Hooch isn't going to know anything. Jamie, they always end with Aqualung, take their bows, and come back with locomotive breath and a little jam. And good night, take the bows again. And as they exit and they're off stage, when the house lights come up and the people, are like, wow, and are ready to leave, they play that Louis Armstrong, What a Wonderful World. They've been doing that since the 80s. And I brought that over to ROH. And, so when that came in, and it has nothing to do with my it's just that song. And so it got me. Anyway, but what a show it was.
Oh yeah, it was. And to pick some of the highlights out, I mean, I've got to start obviously with I had goosebumps, but I was totally goosebumped all over for the Briscoes FTR segment. I mean, what was your thoughts on that?
Well, it was awesome. I mean, a little too late, but Yeah, that was a moment. That was a moment. Let's hope.
I saw the picture of you with Dax backstage.
Yeah. They're good boys. I went to meet them, thinking, I wonder if these guys even know who I am. And Jeff Jones, former Judge Jeff Jones from ECW.
Yeah.
Then worked behind the scenes at ROH. Now works behind the scenes with AEW. How did that happen? He brought those guys. So I went up to where they were hiding, and I stood Jeff, who I've known for 12 years, and he's a good guy. And I saw him first, and Braun Strowman was up there too. I'll tell you about it.
Adam Scher.
Yeah.
But so I said to Jeff, I said those FTR guys, I said, do they even know? Some guys know history, some don't. It's amazing. Some of the girls, what's the girl's name? Azra something. AZ. She's from Texas. She's got a red Ring of Honor.
Yeah, Azura.
Right, that one. Friday night, me, Bobby Cruz, and her were sitting in the lobby. And at one point, I might have had a little too much wine in me. I said, no, I didn't grab her leg. I said, do you know who I am? She's like, no. Bobby Cruz was like, honey, we might not be happy. I don't think we'd be here tonight. But so you never know, right?
You never know, yeah.
So with those guys, Jeff Jones is like, of course, they know you. So I went over to them. Not only did they know me, I was embarrassed because which one is the bald guy?
Dax.
Yeah. He told me, I might be mixing it up, but one of the two told me, Cary, do you remember in 2011, I had a dark match? It really didn't go very well. I said, no. I go, how did that happen? He goes, well, Carnett brought me in. I said, were you in OVW? He said, no, Carnett saw me on an indie show, and I think we were doing a show in Louisville or somewhere close to where he was. I didn't remember him. And the other guy, once again, I forget which one said which. Mm-hmm. The other guy told me he used to go to Ring of Honor shows.
Right.
As a fan.
Yeah, so, I can believe that, actually. I can imagine FTR being quite big fans of Ring of Honor in the early to mid 2000s.
Right. So yeah, they were super cool. And boy, what talented guys. As far as Braun Strowman, you guys would know better than me. I don't think he was ever on the Indies, right?
No, he was never on the Indies. And although I was happy to see him, I do actually think he's got a lot of potential as a main guy in any company. It kind of made me laugh because one of the things he said before he was fired, when he was still in WWE, was he took a few shots at the independents, saying, oh, you'll never see me on the independents.
Well, he's close with EC3.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That was another thing I wanted to mention as well. I mean, what's your thoughts on the whole EC3?
Control your narrative.
The control your narrative.
Listen, EC3 is awesome talent, and it is an awesome talent. And the guy that brought me upstairs to where FTR and Braun Strowman were hiding, which was the top of the building. There's like these luxury box kind of things, but you can't see in them, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, the guy who brought me up was a random guy, and I'm just say hi. It's like I asked someone in the back. I wanted to do it at the right time before, because I knew I had to do the commentary for the Briscoes. Anyway, so this guy is bringing me up there. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm Cary. He goes, oh, I said, who are you? He goes, I'm doing I do the creative stuff and the video, whatever, produce for EC3.
Right.
And at the risk of completely insulting him and EC3, I said to him in the elevator on the way up on this short ride, I said, I got to be honest with you. That whole control the narrative, either I'm missing something or it needs another, for me, it needs something else.
You're absolutely right.
He could have looked at me and said, fuck you, but that's how does that answer your question?
No, you are spot on. I think EC3, again, like Adam Scher, Braun Strowman, I think he's a top tier talent, but this control your narrative, I don't really get what it is or what he means or where it's going or why I should. Is he a face or a heel? It needs to be explained a little bit more. And maybe I'm missing something too, but I don't quite get it yet.
Well, I'm sure that guy told EC3 that old Cary Silkin told me that. And I'm sure, how would they like that? Because they think they're doing it well. But maybe it'll make them think, like, let's take a look at this, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, well,
Callum, maybe we're both, and Jamie, maybe we're both wrong. We're all wrong.
Maybe.
It's fabulous.
Maybe we're the only 3 people in the wrestling community who don't get it.
Maybe so. We mentioned to Dutch as well. Obviously, the Righteous won the 6-man tag team titles. Obviously, the titles are still there. What's your thoughts on them still being defended? Like, I think we're going to get the Briscoes and FTR for the Ring of Honor tag team titles still. Is that important to you that they're still defended while Ring of Honor's hiatus?
Yes, of course it is. Jonathan Gresham, Josh Woods, the Briscoes, Rhett Titus, and Roxy, right? They're all going to be actively. Josh Woods has a couple of title defenses in the next, this weekend. I know he has one. Jonathan Gresham, yes, they're all going to be defended at some point. In the hope that these belts and these champions are intact for our triumphant return. Our triumphant return to Supercard of Honor.
This is what I want to say.
Where the 3 of us will be there, embraced as one, cheering on the show.
Yes.
Right?
I'm so excited for the fact that they are still going to be defended. I love that so much that you're still going to have these titles defended, all around the place on the indies. And makes it. Josh Woods is he on Dark this week, Callum?
He's on Dark this week. Yeah, his first appearance on Dark was this week.
That's another story.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who is always going to do well for himself. He's a good-looking dude, talented as hell. There's so many guys that I really do. When Ring of Honor comes back, and when, there's people I want to see come back to Ring of Honor, and he's one of them, just because I think he fits so well. And I think he was only just getting started with Ring of Honor. So it's kind of bittersweet, because I think he's got so much left to give to that company.
Talking about that, another name, the news today, I don't know if you've seen it, Brody King's apparently signed for AEW.
Yeah, I saw that.
No, I didn't. I saw something last night, but I didn't know he signed.
Yeah.
Apparently, according to what I've heard today from a few different reports, he's signed.
The reports are that he signed with AEW because he was in a segment last night where they basically teased that he's a part of Malachi Black's House of Black.
Okay.
So
well, good for him. I know Brody was supposed to be working with New Japan, and he lives in California. His band is doing very well, better than you know, and so yeah. So I mean, but AEW can't take everybody.
No, and they shouldn't.
Well, yeah.
No, did you see the big headline? Oh, if you could see.
Oh, who's that handsome man?
Well, do you see? Can you read it, or you want me to read it?
Yeah, can you read it for us? Yeah.
Cary Silkin believes ROH Final Battle was, now here's the quote, as good or better than AEW pay-per-views. This was put out by Wrestling Inc. And I was on Dave LaGreca's podcast, not the live show, but we did it. You could listen.
Yeah.
And to the Wrestling Inc.'s credit, they quoted me directly, and it said, I recently spoke with Cary, spoke Busted Open Radio about admitting he thinks the product is good. This is look how they write it. Admitting he thinks the product was good.
Mm-hmm.
I did not admit it. I told him anyway. Despite that, he believes the recent Final Battle was just as good, if not better, than any pay-per-view that Tony Khan's company has produced. Then here's my quotes.
Right.
I do really enjoy AEW, Cary admitted. The Wednesday show, I record faithfully, sometimes the Friday show, but Wednesday I'm going to record it, or if I'm home, I'm going to watch it live. It's good. It's so good. There's so many of my friends there, but forget that. It's a really good product. But what I was going to ultimately say was, as good as Full Gear or All Out, and I'm forgetting the other names, and they're fabulous. I think Ring of Honor's show from 8 to 11, Final Battle that we just saw was as good or better. Just because it was shorter and the vibe, and he added, I don't know, I'm very proud of what was presented that night. That's all.
First of all, when they say Cary admitted, like it's something, like it's a guilty pleasure or something. that tickled me.
I can't see it. I can't see anything wrong with that, though. I mean, I don't think Ring of Honor have ever put on a bad show. Do you, Callum?
I've honestly, and I say this 100% honestly, I've never seen a bad Ring of Honor show. Like, when it comes to pay-per-views, of course you're going to get ones that are better and stand out more than others, but there's never been one I've watched where I've gone, that was a bad show. So yeah, I completely agree.
How'd you like that Kenny King, Shane Taylor match?
Thought it was amazing, and I loved the aftermath of it as well, from what I've seen, with the wrestlers in the ring. Mm-hmm. I thought that was the whole segment, the match, the handshake afterwards, fantastic.
And I love it all because, like we said last time, it's that long-term storytelling as well with this feud, you know, which is something a lot of companies are missing. And I just love it. And it was just great for Final Battle, for those two to have a final battle.
Yeah.
You know, it was, you know, and there's two guys we've had the pleasure of speaking to them both, and it was just so nice to see that match on the pay-per-view.
Right, there's an example of what we were talking about earlier, was that if they would have done half of what they did in these various segments, right, it would have still been, we'd have still been saying, did you see that match? You know,
yeah.
The point is, they didn't have to, they didn't overdo it, but they didn't have to do all that. And so it's an example of the pride these guys have to put out the, you know, to go out on the right note.
Oh yeah, and I'm a big fan of Shane Taylor because he's good, but he believes in himself, and you can see that with everything he does.
He does, and when you talk to him, like, it's like, yeah, you know, it's not like he's living his gimmick, but he believes, you know, he's got,
yeah,
it's not a gimmick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I think I like him as well so much, is that he believes in himself and he believes who he is, and you're kind of drawn to that. It's like, oh, this guy knows what he's about. He's, you know, I want to see this guy go to the top.
There was only one thing wrong with that match, and I'll tell you what it was. Somebody had to follow the damn thing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it was Roxy and Willow. and they got. It took them a while, but they got the crowd back. But when this is the third. I felt bad about Todd, but I felt bad for them because I was at ringside, and when they made their entrances, the crowd had the life sucked out of them by the Shane Taylor, Kenny King. And Willow comes out to very little reaction at all because everybody was just spent. And then when Roxy came out, she had to be like, come on, people. But they got the people back.
Yeah.
And they had a great match.
Well, speaking of great matches as well, I mean, obviously, Gresham, Lethal.
Well, I was going to say, we need to mention this one before we run out of time. Obviously, Gresham, Lethal. But the big takeaway from this as well, Cary, was that the Ring of Honor original World Championship returned. And something, obviously, you're quite familiar with. Before we talk about the match, how symbolic do you think it was that the original Ring of Honor Championship came back for the last show?
Oh, it was great. I mean, do you remember the last time it made an appearance?
2005, was it?
No, 2015-ish in Vegas when
really?
Christopher Daniels won the belt.
Right.
And I was asked, can you bring it out for old time's sake? And I did. So yeah. What a match those guys had.
What a match, yeah.
And what's your thoughts? Obviously Gresham's the champ now, the pure Ring of Honor World Champion, as he says, and he's his own company now, is it? He's starting Terminus. I mean, what's your thoughts on this?
It's I don't know if it's going to be a promotion or a one-off, but he's doing a good job, and he's a really good guy. And funny thing was, and you guys are going to laugh at me, his old lady, what's her name? Jordan Gracie?
Jordan Grace, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know her. And he didn't bother to introduce her to me. So I saw this. So when the match ends and I got to drag my skank ass into the ring, here's this woman coming in. I'm like, who the hell? Well, I realized who she was. But I never really followed her career, obviously.
Oh,
but
she's brilliant.
So, Gresham and his Terminus, we'll see what happens. But he's trying to keep the Ring of Honor ethic alive.
That's what I liked, obviously, with his promo at the end. It was quite heelish, I suppose, wasn't it? That, now he's going to make this world title pure again with Terminus. And I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen. And obviously, when Ring of Honor returns, how it's all going to be incorporated in together, maybe.
Well, I can tell you one thing. After the last 2 episodes of Ring of Honor TV that air or are put out in the next couple of weeks, we're not going away. There's going to be obviously recaps, best ofs, and because next year in February 23rd is our 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
Or would be, or whatever. I mean, it's no matter what it is, it's 20 years since the beginning. So I think there's going to be a lot of things recognized, tributes, awards, or something like that. Maybe there'll be some kind of little ceremony, even if it's on video in Texas, in live in Texas, if we're there.
Well, I think for one thing, I'm sure Callum will agree with me. Like you said, Ring of Honor will never go away, will it, Callum?
No, of course not. Of course not.
It will live forever. It truly will. But like I said before, I'm confident. I'm looking forward to the return. I think it's going to be good. It's going to be huge, to be honest. But we said to Dutch the other night, and we've said to you before, and I'm sure you'll say it again, the wrestling world wouldn't be what it is without Ring of Honor.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. And it's true. I mean, Ring of Honor's, and Callum won't mind me saying, Ring of Honor's the reason Callum's a wrestling fan, right?
It was the first thing I ever watched outside of WWE. So it's always got this like nostalgic place in my heart, because without Ring of Honor, I wouldn't know there was wrestling outside of WWE, and thank God there is at times, because I can't imagine just watching one promotion. So the first time I saw like AJ Styles, CM Punk, Jay Lethal, Amazing Red, Ring of Honor was that company. So eternally thankful to that company for opening my eyes to that wider range of talent.
Well, definitely the Ring of Honor footprint is all over pro wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Everywhere you look. Dude, it was a shame. And I want to give a lot of credit to Adam Pearce that, we had all these tributes, and a lot of the tributes didn't even air. They're going to air on the weekly broadcast. There was additional tributes from Colt Cabana, Jerry Lynn, I believe, a number of guys. But WWE doesn't allow these guys.
Yeah.
But Adam Pearce, on his own accord, knowing that he's going to hear shit about it, put out a really nice social media post. And some of the guys did too. But what I'm saying is, they're not allowed to film a video and send it to Ring of Honor that says, "Hey, good luck tonight, guys." It's a pity. It
is.
What fucking difference does it make?
It doesn't make any difference.
I'll never get my head around that whole concept with the WWE doing things like that. Ring of Honor basically made these guys, so let them tell you how much it means to them. Let them say thank you, goodbye. It's not going to do any harm to them.
Might not do any harm, but WWE doesn't profit from that, so that's their mindset, isn't it? They just think, well,
I don't know what they're thinking. It's like they're you talk about revisionist history. They're not even that. They're like their own fucking solar system or whatever.
You're spot on. Yeah.
Absolutely spot on. I totally agree. But either way, we know we wouldn't have what we have today if it wasn't for Ring of Honor. I don't care what anybody says. But I've got the warning, Cary, that we're going to be cut off in a few minutes. So
okay,
I will thank you once again. We wish you a happy Christmas and a happy New Year.
Yeah,
and
happy
we
Christmas,
will get
Cary.
We will get you back on as soon as we can in January.
You guys got any special plans? I figure Callum will be running amok, going from party to party.
Oh yeah,
going from party to party with a wild run of hot looking girls.
Oh, you don't. Oh, you have no idea.
Yeah, he does that every night, not just at Christmas. That's all he does.
And Jamie and I'll be sitting on the side smoking a cigar. Going,
I'd rather do that. I'd rather smoke the cigar. Yeah. I don't even drink.
Perfect. Perfect. But it's going to cut off, Cary. So,
all right, guys.
So I will message you in January. We'll get you back on, Cary. But you have a wonderful Christmas. Love you too, man.
Bye.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.